Hello and welcome to this video, and this video is going to be called 10 prog albums that I should own but don't, right? And there's a number of albums that I think are absolute classic albums and I actually don't own them. So what I'm going to be doing in this video is I'm heading out to a record fair, vinyl record fair, in search of the albums that I should own which I don't. So here's the video of the day out. Thanks for watching. We're out and about today. It's me and the progmeister Steve Gould. And where are we going, Steve?
We're going to Bromsgrove Record and CD Fair.
Steve has got me out of the house. He's got me out of my garage, and we are going to look at some vinyl records, and I may even buy some. And if I do buy some, then you'll be watching this video, because then I will talk about them later back in the safety of my man cave. So that's where we're going. So, and I'll film a little bit when we get there if anything interesting happens. But it is, of course, a record fair, which is basically, you know, is a garden centre for progressive rock fans, isn't it? It's a Sunday day out. We'll have a nice cup of tea and some cake.
Absolutely.
Okay, they're lovely. So we are here at Bromsgrove Spa. It's a beautiful day today, a lovely English early summer day. You can hear the music playing, and I'm about to go in to have a look around the record fair, see if you can find any goodies. Here we are, lots and lots of vinyl. Fine. You've only just started looking, haven't you, Steve? Wham. You're after Leo Sayo, aren't you, in Shawaddy Waddy?
Best of the Wombles. I found it.
Say it again, say it again. Oh, how much is that?
Only a fiver.
You got to get it. Well, I've been in there for about an hour, and I think I've cleared my bank account out, but it's quite a lot of stuff. I decided to concentrate on getting holes in my progressive rock vinyl collection. I've got quite a bit on CD, and over the years I've lost quite a lot. So what I've got in this bag here are basically some of the most classic prog albums of all time. You could easily say that I don't know how many I've bought. How many have I got today? Let's have a look. Let's have a count through, shall we? Because it's almost like a top 10 here. It's the 10 albums that I should own. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I've actually bought 9 albums, so I'm going to go through them with you. And I think you'll be quite shocked that I haven't actually got these albums on vinyl. So first one I got was this, which is Trick of the Tail by Genesis. Original gatefold there, you can see, absolutely lovely. There's an argument that this is Genesis' greatest album. It just doesn't have Peter Gabriel on it. But their intention to prog at this point was still fully in evidence. And so this is an absolutely classic album. I think technically and in terms of competence and in terms of prog, it's probably Genesis' greatest album. Now, I have gone on about this album so much. I've said it's one of the greatest progressive rock albums of all time, and I've said that side 2 is perhaps the greatest side of progressive rock, and yet I do not own it on vinyl. So I've just gone and got a copy, which of course is going for the one by Yes. Can you believe it? With the famous Patrick Moraz bottom. That's not actually Patrick Moraz's bottom, but I made out it was on a video, for those of you who haven't seen the video. And of course, this is the big triple opener. I don't think I've ever actually seen inside here. When I was a kid, I had this on cassette, basically, and that was my copy. And then when I got older and I got into jazz fusion, I sold a lot of my prog albums. I lost the cassette. In fact, I may still have the cassette somewhere. Right, so whilst doing this channel, I've gone from not being much of a fan of Emerson, Lake and Palmer to realising there's a couple of albums I've liked, to then delving deeper. I'm now at the stage where I'm listening to albums like Works 2 and Love Beach and actually thinking they're really good. I've got into their sound, I've got into their vibe. I think the big thing for me is that they have a sense of humour, and I think as a younger man I didn't appreciate that in a pretty serious progressive rock band. But now understanding where they're coming from, I think it allows them to be preposterous, the fact that they're so funny in certain places. So I've just gone and re-got a whole ton of Emerson, Lake and Palmer albums. I have got, of course, Tarkus, which, you know, the great big epic of Tarkus on here, which is on side 1, could well be their finest hour. So that's an absolute, because I always felt side 2 was a bit weaker on here. We'll be able to have a listen again and see what I think. Possibly my favourite album, which I did have on vinyl and I've lost as the years go past. And having this again really gives me a feeling of nostalgia, because I know inside here is that montage of them in the English forest, which I haven't seen for years properly, so I'm going to have a look at that. Yes, without doubt, that takes me back to when I was a kid. What a brilliant album. The first ELP album I bought, not so much of a fan of this, but this was £1.99, right? So I think I got it in fact for less than that, because I got 3 for the price of 2 or something, I don't know. I mean, the first ELP album I ever bought, and I think I've got one other in here as well. Let's just have a look. Yes, that one there. So that, with the only vinyl album I actually own now of ELP, because I decided I hated them, is Brain Salad Surgery. And so I think I now have a reasonable ELP collection on vinyl. I can justify my status as being a progressive rock YouTuber now. That guilty secret that is that not out. I can't believe I haven't got a copy of this anymore. And the Steve Gould I was walking around, he was quite shocked when he found out I hadn't got a copy of this. So I've managed to re-get one of these. And when they're a gatefold, I'm a sucker for a gatefold album. Look at that. So I think I've got Genesis covered now. I think I've got everything. I haven't got Trespass, and I haven't got the first Genesis live album, but I think I've got all the. I've got Wind and Wuthering, so still a way to go. Now, this is an interesting one. I'm not a massive fan of Rick Wakeman, but I feel that I should at least own one album. So I was keeping an eye out for a Rick Wakeman album, hoping that I'd get this one, which I think is possibly the best, which is the first one, Rick Wakeman and the 6 Wives of Henry VIII. And I've managed to grab a copy of that here. Oh my God, look at him there. He's not only there in full gatefold glory, but he's telling the fans what keyboards he's got. The nerds, right? So this is the one now, the last one. This is an album I've loved for years. It's one of the greatest progressive rock albums, and I believe one of the greatest fusion albums. And it is, of course, by Patrick Moraz. It is, what's it called, this one? Is it, okay, there's no title on here. Is it The Story of I or something? The Story of I, see, I did remember. I've got that. Now let's have a look at the lineup on here. Patrick Moraz on keyboards, John McBurney on lead vocals, Vivian McClough on vocals. They've got Jeff Billin on bass, Alphonse Moose on drums, Andy Newmark's also on drums. So there's a full-on fusion, and of course on guitar, the great, the wonderful Ray Gomez. Now Ray Gomez occasionally chats to me on Facebook. I've been hoping to be able to get him on the channel. And he's one of my favourite jazz fusion guitarists. He made a number of albums in the 70s that are absolute classics. He's one of the greats, and this is one of them, so I'm really pleased to be able to nail a copy of this. Look at Patrick Moraz there. Look at that in all his glory. So those are the albums. I think I've gone through them all now. Those are the albums I have got today at the record fair. I've run out of money. Steve Gould's still in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pack up and get back in and see what happens. So Steve, I think you've got more than me, haven't you?
Certainly have.
Well, you just got me one. So I'm up to 10 now.
It's certainly expanded our collection somewhat.
If you want to know, Steve Gould has a radio show, a prog radio show. Do you want to tell him where it is and where they can listen to it?
It's called The Lost Art. It goes out on MMH, the home of rock radio, every Sunday, 4 o'clock till 7. www.mmhradio.co.uk. It also goes out on Progzilla Radio every Thursday, and that's progzilla.com, and that runs from 8 till 11.
And I'll put a link in the video down below. Steve knows his prog. He knows his prog. He doesn't know his fusion. He's been asking me about the jazz rock fusion, whether he should get so.
He's educated me on a few of the albums.
So if you're watching this, I've given him some recommendations for fusion albums which are erring. I use the word wisely. Erring towards the old progginess. So let's see what you've got.
Right. So ELP back in the day.
Brilliant.
They were my boys. Never actually had this back in the day. I never had it. I had every other album, but never had that one. So first time on vinyl. That's a job. Was a good one. Tometer.
Yeah, you're a big sort of keyboard.
I love synths.
yeah.
I love electronic stuff. And this was one album that I hadn't got of Tometers. I've got every one of his others. Like I say, I've had them all on CD and digital, but this is the first time on vinyl. This was a recommendation from Andy. Do you want to give a...
That is one of my favourite Jean-Luc Ponty albums. I know we all go on about Enigmatic Ocean, but I think in terms of the playing and the lineup and the tightness, that is an absolute masterpiece, that one.
£5.
£5, yes.
£5.
And anybody can see the handsome features of Mr. Clarke just appeared there.
Yeah.
Another jazz rock classic, Essential. Probably Stanley Clarke's second greatest album. I'm a big fan of the one before Stanley Clarke, which has got Jan Hammer and Tony Williams on. And then after that, it's probably my second favourite Stanley Clarke
I'm looking
album.
forward to hearing all these later.
The lineup on that's incredible. You've got John McLaughlin and Jeff Beck. So hot.
The second Mike Oldfield album, again, had this back in the day, before we sold all our vinyls. I do tend to find Mike Oldfield stuff a bit samey after a while, but I do like this one. I did enjoy this one. I actually enjoyed this one more than Tubular Bells. Burgess Ridge.
But if you fancy doing a dance in a field at midnight on the longest day of the year, it's a perfect soundtrack, especially if you're naked, I've found.
Absolutely. Have you tried it then?
Oh yes, every single time. I think Burgess Ridge is the best one for sort of...
So this was another recommendation from Andy. I've not got any Santana albums. It's something I've always looked at, picked up. But again, I bought this one on a recommendation from Andy. Take it away.
So you lot know that my favourite album is the disco-influenced Amigos by Santana, and all of you shouted at me, no, their greatest album's Caravanserai, because it's the heaviest album. It's where they went the deepest into jazz rock fusion, and it's not jazz rock fusion like Return to Forever. It's much closer to something like Weather Report or Bitches Brew, but it's got that Santana mystical sound. And it's trippy and it's incredible. It's one of the greatest albums ever made.
It's a gatefold.
And I haven't got the gatefold.
Oh, yeah.
I got the nice price, 1980s nice price version.
There were actually fewer copies of this in there, but this one is
absolutely beautiful.
For the incredible sum of only £5.
This record. This is why Steve took me to this record fair, because they have these boxes of £5 albums.
Now again, Deep Purple never really had a lot of their early stuff on vinyl back in the day. More my wife, she was into Deep Purple when she was 11, but I thought we'd get that one because it's got all the good stuff on it. I have got 24 Golden Greats, but the quality is not brilliant, so I'm looking forward to hearing that one.
That was the first Deep Purple album I got. Of course, it's got all the good ones on it.
This one was going for the princely sum of £3.
And again, I said, Steve, if you're going to get an album again, that's the most progressive one, the most proggy, the most complex.
Three of these.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
For sake of £3, I thought, why not?
And look at that cover. Yeah. Look at that cover. There he is in his white suit.
It actually says property of CBS demonstration
only
on the back.
That's incredible.
Oh,
wow.
Look at that. Whoa. Now this one's quite controversial.
Yes,
quite controversial.
I don't want my YouTube getting blocked because of this.
This was in the $1.99 or 3 for a £5 box, so I had to get that one. And if you're not familiar with Derek and Clive, I'm not saying any more.
Yep. That is their second album. The first one.
No, that's the third.
That's the third one.
Yeah,
so
the second one was Come Again.
Come Again, yeah. I had both of those, and then there was
Derek
and Clive Get the Horn, and there's Live as well. The Live.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
Now Clannad again. The only other one I've got of theirs on vinyl is Past Present, which is like a greatest hits, but not a band I've seen live, but I do like their music at times. It's nice and pastoral and nice to chill out to, like Clannad.
I've got nothing to say about them. Or him.
Look who this is.
Look at that mullet.
And his old boss.
God, you wouldn't be lighting a naked flame next to that mullet. There must be a lot of hairspray in there as well. I don't know about the bloody painting burning down one side. It's
one we had back in the day before we sold all our albums, but good to get that one back in the collection.
That's the That's the second one, isn't it, with big log on? That's the big one, isn't it?
No, the one with big log on is the Principle of Moments.
Oh, that's it, you see?
Yeah.
I know nothing about Robert Solo career.
Now, I had to get this. This was a tenner, but I've only ever had this on CD. I've got the limited edition with the bonus disc, but I'd never ever had this on vinyl. It was the third It Bites album, Eat Me in St. Louis. Some absolute classic tracks on here.
And it's such a proggy cover for the late 80s.
Yeah, it's like a Roger Dean.
Roger
I
Dean.
love the logo.
Yeah, lovely album.
Absolutely
album
fantastic,
cover.
and it's in immaculate condition. And it came in a plastic sleeve. What more can I say?
I have not covered It Bites at all on my channel.
Well, you need to.
I know.
You need to. Now, this was another oddball one I had to get for the sake of $1.99 or 3 for a fiver. The soundtrack to Life of Brian, one of the best comedy movies ever made, and it's got all the best moments from the album on. I don't know what the quality's like, but for $1.99 you can't argue with that.
And it's a proggy cover as well, that one, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Now again, I'm not a huge Asia fan, but it's the first Asia album, and it was in the $1.99 or 3 for a fiver. So
you buy it for the cover. It's an incredible cover.
oh yeah. It's got some of the classic stuff on there. Heat of the Moment, Soul Survivor. The quality of the disc's probably crap, but got a good cover.
I haven't got a problem with proggers going pop, as long as they write decent pop songs, and most of the time they don't, especially Steve Hackett in the early 80s. He definitely doesn't. But Asia, those are good pop songs. And John Wetton was...
My favourite Asia album is actually Aura, when John Payne was with the band. Love that, and it's got a Roger Dean cover as well. Best of Cream. Again, I've not got any Cream albums, so I thought, why not get that one? It's more my wife. She tends to like the more blues rock stuff, but can't beat a bit of Cream.
I love the famous singles like I Feel Free and Strange Brew, and then if you get a best of, you get those, but you don't necessarily get the live improvisations.
That's right.
That's the problem with that.
No, this is not proggy in any way, shape or form.
I cannot believe this is on my channel.
But I just love the guy's voice, and I think they're brilliant musicians. And I've always said that Riverside are like a proggy Aha, because Marius Duda's vocals are very similar to Morton Harkett.
Well, I disagree. I think at Aha are like a poppy Riverside, so we'll have an argument about that on the way out.
Now,
this is a rarity.
This is the last one. I was absolutely over the moon to get this one. Mark Shreve, he's he's passed away now, unfortunately. I think he was only in his 50s, but he was one of the top UK synthesists. It's mainly instrumental stuff. I think this was one of his last albums. I'll tell you, that Samantha Fox track that she got into the top, the one who was page 3 model.
I know who Samantha Fox is. I've mentioned her before on the channel.
Yeah, she had a top 5 single.
Touch Me. Touch Me.
Yeah.
I want to feel your body.
That.
Really?
He co-wrote that.
I see.
But yeah, we're very close.
And didn't Samantha Fox then hook up with Hawkwind at one point and do some stuff? Yeah.
Some weird stuff. But I've got most of his other albums, but this one I've never ever had. I had it on cassette. I've still got it on cassette, but the first time on vinyl. And that's it really. So a nice little selection.
Done.
And that's cost me around £70.
You can't go wrong, can you?
£70. And that's how much my wife would pay for 2 albums, because she only buys the new stuff. You've got to keep with the old stuff.
Keep with the old stuff, buy the second hand, get to these fairs. We've had a lovely day out, we have. The time's flown by, and we're now going to have a nice cup of coffee. I've got my coffee here, and I've got a nice sticky toffee bun. So I will do this round here like this, and we will now say goodbye. That is the end of the video. We're done. So bye all.
Nice to meet you all.
And the next time, Steve, if you like me doing this, it's nice to get out. I hope you've enjoyed a bit of sun. So if you like me doing this random, just seeing what we get, then put it in the comments and we'll do it again. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye. Hello there. I've had some weird thoughts on driving home from that record fair. When I was a younger man, I used to spend so much time in record shops buying second-hand records. It was something I did all the time. It was part of me. And then somewhere, I think around when the iPod came out, I stopped doing that. I stopped going out and searching for these records. Going back this morning, I haven't actually done that for so many years. And I'm in there looking through the records. 3 hours pass like this. A part of my being has laid dormant, and on the way home I thought, this really interesting, this is I think we as a species, especially us men, we should be out hunting. And I think you know, that wants the pursuit of something, that going out and trying to find it and getting your senses out there so you can find it, and then having the being motivated by the thing of finding it and having it and being able to take it home and show the rest of the cave full of your family, look, I managed to get a copy of Relaya by Yes. You know, this is a very important thing that I'd forgotten. I feel absolutely really buzzing from going and doing that, and it's really interesting how much I really enjoyed it, and what a lovely day it was, and how much I'd forgotten that going out and looking for the records is all part of the fun. And now we've got Spotify and YouTube, we can just go and listen to anything. It takes away part of a very important aspect of listening to music that we had, that I think attached itself so well to the bands we liked, that we look at on this channel. Anyway, I've decided this video is going to be called 10 prog albums I should own. And if you've looked, there were 9. So I want to show you the 10th one I bought, because I went back in and bought one more, and it was Mike Oldfield, Dawn. And I have Tubular Bells, but I've always felt that this and Hergus Ridge are more interesting albums, I think. So I'm really glad to have that. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like, and it doesn't hurt you to put a like on. If you want to subscribe and see more, then click that, and I promise you it won't do anything else. All it might do is just alert you that there's more videos coming out from me. If you want to support me, you can go over to my Patreon and support me there, or you can put a donation into my PayPal tip jar. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.